You know, there was a time when watches cost a lot of money and lasted virtually forever, and when they broke, people just got them fixed.
Yeah, well, Dan Kain spent some time recently with one of these watchmakers who really is an expert, and he joins us now on something that's really becoming a lost art, huh?
Something of a lost art indeed. Rick Littlefield, of Newington, started tinkering with watches when he got his first watch, and he's turned that tinkering into a full-time career. And watching him work at his bench is sort of like watching a surgeon, except there's no blood, and actually it's a lot more interesting.
What got me involved is getting my first watch and taking the back off and watching this little machine, 100 years old, still doing its job.
Rick Littlefield has been collecting watches since the 1980s, and several years ago, he decided to turn a part-time passion into a full-time job. He had been working in the consumer electronics field.
That was fun, but that was my job. This was my hobby. And I would come home and have dinner and go downstairs and sit at my bench, and most people watch TV. I take watches apart.
With a year of formal training and 15 years of informal experience behind him, he opened Pieces of Time in Newington.
I restore a lot of watches that are family pieces. I've got a couple in now that are from the 1800s.
Really?
And they can trace their family back through this watch and who's owned the watch, which is that's neat.
Littlefield says one of the things he loves about working with watches is their connection with history.
When I'm working on a watch, if I'm working on a railroad watch, you're thinking about the era of the railroad and what was happening there and opening up the West and all of that. And then you're working on a military piece, World War II, World War I. You have all of that you can be involved in. The world goes away when you're working on a watch. You just have this little bit of few inches of real estate you have to concern yourself with.
When Rick can't find a replacement part, he has to create one.
It takes a lot of practice, basically. I mean, a lot of times you know what you're replacing because the broken part is in there, so you can get an idea of what you need it to look like and what the job that it does. And if there happens to be a piece missing or a part missing, you can figure that out. And then it's just a matter of trial and error. It's a lot of handwork. Well, that's the beauty of watches. You can do it. As long as my hand is steady and my eye is good, I can do it until I'm 80. I know guys that are 80 that are doing it, and that are doing it very, very well.
He's just like a surgeon. He looks like a surgeon.
Couldn't you watch that forever?
He does have a steady hand,
Absolutely.
too. Boy,
Pieces of Time in Newington.
Little tiny things. He moves around. Thanks, Dan.
Yep.